Hello my bookish friends, welcome back. I am Elizabeth. This is Reading Wryly, and today I have a very exciting video in store for you. This is going to be a vlog. Also, I've collaborated with Ashley from Ashley's Little Library. We picked out books for each other, we did a book swap, we sent it to each other across the states, and now we're going to be reading them. She's also making a video which is out today as well. I will link that as well as her channel down below. You're going to be finding out with me along the way what book she chose for me. We sent each other videos kind of describing why we chose the book that we chose. So this is going to be a really fun one. Thank you for clicking in. Does that make sense? I don't know. But before we get into the book talk, I do want to take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video today, and that is Analuisany Jewelry. The reason that I feel so good about partnering with this jewelry company is not just the quality and affordability of their pieces, but their dedication to creating a more sustainable jewelry industry, especially in this day and age when I feel like ethics and business are completely separate things. They have found a way to bring that together and create a sustainable jewelry company. Every one of their pieces is created ethically with respect to the people who make the jewelry and the environment. They're 100% carbon neutral. If you don't know what that means, basically all of the CO2 that is created with the creation of this jewelry, the running of the business, the shipping of the orders, is counterbalanced by the creation of oxygen. And how they do that is by teaming up with another company that preserves forested area. 6,500 acres of forested area, which creates oxygen, creates jobs, and is sustainable. Right now, Analuisany is having a buy one, get one 40% off sale for Mother's Day. So this is the perfect opportunity for us to celebrate not necessarily just our mothers, but all of the women in our lives and ourselves. Buy one for that special woman in your life, get one 40% off to keep for yourself. I mean, it's a win-win situation. I sent the Vinta disc to my mom in Florida and she loves it. Look how freaking cute she is, first of all. I'm particularly obsessed with these Tia medium gold earrings that I'm wearing today. They're not so heavy that they weigh your ear down and they pull and tug and are uncomfortable. They're super comfortable, but they have enough weight to them to feel expensive. They feel expensive, they look great. They're just a classic hoop earring that literally go with anything. The link will be posted down below. Check it out if you're even just interested in looking at some of their pieces. I'm wearing them, love them. I know you'll love them too. So that being said, let's get on to the book talk. So Ashley sent me this video. The next clip is going to be my reaction to Ashley's video. Let's check that out and let's get on to the vlog. I can't remember what this clip is gonna do. We sent these to each other like a month ago, so we'll see. I've got the book. Don't know what it is. We'll find out after I watch this, but let's watch this together. This little video that Ashley sent about this book. Ah.
Hey Elizabeth, I am so excited to be doing this book swap video reading vlog fun thing together that we're doing. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ashley. My channel is Ashley's Little Library, and me and Elizabeth read pretty similarly. We both like thrillers and horrors, but also a little mix of the speculative or sci-fi and emotional types of books too. So I'm really excited about the book that I picked out for Elizabeth. I think I might have broken the rules because I actually haven't read this book yet, but it sounds like something we would both really enjoy, so I really wanted to pick it out for Elizabeth, have her give a go at it. I'm sure she's gonna love it.
Oh my god, I have no idea.
I will be very excited to pick it up too. But the book that I have chosen for Elizabeth sounds so enjoyable. It sounds like such a great combination of all the things that Elizabeth and myself enjoys. There's a time travel element, there's a historical element and multiple timelines. There's the matriarchal family connection line that's playing into the story too. There's a murder mystery. It just sounds like the absolute perfect book. So I really hope you love it, Elizabeth. I can't wait to see this reading vlog. And if you don't love it, it's really not gonna hurt my feelings at all because it's not like I love this book. I just thought it sounded really cool. So I'm excited to watch you read it. I hope you enjoy it. And I'm very excited to see what you picked out for me too.
Oh geez. Let's just figure out what this is. Thank you for sending that, Ashley. What if this isn't even it? Like, I just assumed this is the one that she sent me because it came around the time she said it was. What if this is something I ordered and the other one just got lost in the mail or something? Oh, I'm so stressed. Okay, what is it? I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. Yeah. This, just from the title alone, this sounds like something I would want to read. The Psychology of Time Travel by Kate Mascarenhas. All right, let's see. Looks like we have 3 different timelines. It says inventive and unflashily wise about human hearts. I'm excited. Come down here a little more. Are you focusing, camera? Does this have an adaptation? This sounds familiar. Let's do it. I love this cover too. This is my perfect book. It literally has psychology in the title. It has time travel, which I absolutely love. And this cover, it's like embroidered guns. Can you see this? It's got embroidered guns and embroidered DNA and little bunnies. Like this, good job, Ashley. Good job. Sounds perfect for me. Wow, can't wait to read this. It's time for an update on Psychology of Time Travel. How do I feel about this? Denver, I swear to God, you're gonna get your kennel. I feel like I don't know anything more than I did by reading the cover of this. Well, I know a little bit more, but generally speaking, I don't know how I feel about it. I literally had to read chapter 3 times because I was like, wait, what's happening?
Wait, what's happening?
Wait.
What is happening?
I don't know. I still love the idea of this book. I'm having a really hard time keeping up with this, and this is kind of my thing. So if I'm having a hard time keeping up with this, I have to imagine that that's probably the reason I haven't heard people talking about this. I don't know what I told you in the last clip, but we have 3 timelines. We have 1967, this group of 4 women invent the time machine. Yes, girl power, you invent a fucking time machine. They can't jump back in time before it's invented because there'd be no way to get back, right? Because they can only jump to times after the time machine was invented. So the 4 of them go on their like maiden voyage, an hour in the future, talk to themselves, have a little chit chat with their own selves, and then come back. They do it like 15 times the first time they experimented with humans, with themselves. Before that, they did inanimate objects and then rabbits. They have one special rabbit named Patrick who then became their pet, Barbara's pet. Barbara is interesting because she, after everybody went to sleep that night, she snuck in the time machine to go on one little trip by herself. And then immediately after that, they have the press coverage of like first invention of a time machine. And Barbara is not there mentally. Her brain is scrambled. She doesn't know what's going on. They think she's bipolar or something and that she's having a depressive episode and she's having a breakdown. The rest of the ladies shun her after that. They're like,
we can't afford to include Barbara after that. She's gonna taint our reputation. This is so important for the invention of this time machine.
And they just like never speak to her again. So that was 1967. And then in 2017, we're following Barbara, or Grandma B, and her granddaughter, Ruby. They get a delivery on their doorstep of a note that explains that a year in the future, a little old lady's body is found brutally murdered. It doesn't say who it is. So then we're also following that timeline when the body is found. And it's found by this woman, Odette, which I just love that name. Isn't that a pretty name? Odette. Odette. I feel like that's a name like songs should be written about. Odette is the one that found the body, reported it to the police. She's not affiliated with these women in any way. They're not telling her who it is. They're not telling her how she died. They're not talking about it, brushing it under the rug. Odette has just a very inquisitive mind and she can't let it go. So she is now investigating because she has to find out who this is, what happened. That's all I know right now. I don't know. This has the potential to go a lot of different ways. I'm really still hoping that I'm gonna love this, but we'll see what happens. What is her name? Kate Mascarenhas? Kate needs to chill the fuck out. Kate needs to chill the fuck out with the characters, with the timelines. Let me just say, I love a book that has multiple timelines and multiple points of view. Love it. When we're talking about time travel, I think it's very important to keep your cast limited. Also, we keep adding times. There's like a 1980s timeline, 1999 timeline. There's a 1999 timeline, but a character from the 22nd century that's coming back to 1999. So while you could be in any point in time, you don't know, is that her original timeline or is she older and coming back to that timeline, in which case there's two of her in that timeline at that time.
Kate, girl, you need to chill out. You just gotta chill. It's too much. It is too much.
It's it's comical at this point. I was reading it in the bath last night and I was just laughing because they kept introducing new characters and I'm like, who do you think you are, ma'am? Who do you think is reading this book? Like, you are making this so niche at this point that you have to be either taking notes or like a fucking scholar to understand any of this. I wish I had taken notes from the beginning. At the very least, you need to make a foundation that is so, like, don't call people by nicknames either, especially when you have these different points of views, different timelines. What she's doing is so confusing. It's like, this girl's mom is having an affair with this other girl, but she's actually a kid in this timeline, but it's her, the girl she's having an affair with is from the future that's come back. So they're not actually the same age, but then her daughter has come back to this timeline. Her daughter's a kid right now. Like, I don't even know. What do I know? I know Margaret's a bitch. And I know that a lot of these time travelers have different mental health issues. So what I'm understanding, what I'm perceiving here is that time travel really does affect your mental health. There's one person who oh my God, Denver! There's one person who is severely anorexic and feels like she can only eat in one specific place in one specific time. She allows herself to eat a meal in that place and time. So over time, dozens upon dozens of versions of herself in that place and time at the same time, all eating because that's the only place they feel safe doing it. There's another woman who has severe OCD because she's afraid that she's killing her children by anything that she does in the past, like going to the past. And then obviously we have like the original breakdown that Barbara had, and Barbara is now trying to get back into the conclave. She's trying to invent some way to reuse fuel. There's a specific fuel that they use to time travel. She's trying to figure out a way to like recycle that basically, so that she can force them into taking her back because it would help them so much. Anyway, there's a running theme, and I think what's happening is that the conclave is trying to cover up that time travel is doing this, but that it's eventually gonna blow up in their face. That's my impression right now. Odette is still trying to get into the conclave. She's still trying to understand what happened to this body, and that's the overall mystery, the big mystery of what happened. Who is this body and why were they killed? And I'm guessing it's because they were trying to tell the story of, you know, this mental health story. But anyway, so Odette decides that she's gonna become a time traveler in order to get into the conclave and get into like, have contacts with the people. So she's been hired there under false pretenses. Everything's kind of a mess. It's so messy. It's so messy. Oh my God. Okay, I will show you though. I was looking in the book. I was like, well, maybe there's some kind of chart, character chart, timeline thing in here to like help as a reader's guide. That would have been smart, by the way.
No, there's not.
But there is at the end an appendix that has a whole bunch of different tests that are related to time travel, like personality tests. The first one is death anxiety scale for time travelers. I worry about my physical health being poor before my death. Either strongly disagree, neither agree nor disagree, agree, strongly agree, etc. So there's that test. There is bereavement scale for time travelers. There is religious belief scale for time travelers. Oh yeah, Siobhan, the woman who works for the company that is from the 2100s, in that time of our history. They don't believe in psychology anymore. Everything is based on theological determinism, where they think anything that happens, it's because God made it happen, and that's just like the science of the times.
Sounds like a dystopia.
She came back in order to study psychology because she was interested in that, but it's not allowed where she came from. Ugh. Locus of control scale for time travelers. I don't know what that even means. Oh, just like a scale of like how much control you have over your life. Obsessive compulsive scale for time travelers. I hope this isn't spoiling the whole book by just going through these. Eating disorder scale for time travelers. Wow. Time traveling and narcissistic traits. Huh. Okay. Dream symbol inventory. Indicate the symbols which were present in your dreams over the last week. Oh. Okay. That's the last one. Oh, they have book club questions in here too. Okay. I don't know. I've pretty much lost hope for this book at this point. The concept, A+, A+ concept. Execution, right now, D. This book, like myself, has too many hobbies and isn't great at any of them. Ashley, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry, Ashley, but this is not it. This is not it. And part of me wishes that you had read this, because then you would not have asked me to read this. And it's partly my fault, because this was on my wish list. I didn't tell you guys that before, but I totally forgot that this was on my wish list already. So I take partial credit for this. This book just isn't it. It's not it. Okay, let's talk about it. I finished this so disappointed. It's not good. Part of me, like, doesn't trust anything I've said about it. Part of me doesn't know what I read, if I actually perceived anything that was in here correctly. But another part of me just thinks this is so bad. It sucks. It really sucks, because I loved this concept so much. I love all the things that it's talking about. There is social commentary about race. There is social commentary about sexuality. There is psychology. There is time travel. None of those things were done well. First of all, like the whole psychology aspect of it, I showed you the back of the book where they have the little tests and stuff and the metrics. Nothing was said about the psychology. There was no reasoning as to why it messed you up or it like had an effect on people's mental health. There was no overall lesson to be learned about it, or even reference towards the end of the book of why that was even being said. At the beginning of the book, when Barbara takes her little extra trip in the time travel machine and she comes back and she's like a little bit, you know, she's lost it mentally. We never find out where she went. So I'm guessing that whole, like, I thought that was going to connect to this mystery, why it was so weird and why it wasn't solved, and that was going to be kind of the catalyst that helped us figure out the mystery of who died and who was killed. And we figured that out, and it was fine. I don't know. Why not show where she went? Why not show how that affected her mentally? It just doesn't connect. There are so many ideas just flying up in the air here, and none of them hit. Taking shots, and they're all missing. Every single one, every single one. Also, with the time travel, there's a basic understanding in this book that fate is real and that time travel cannot affect the future. So a lot of the information that they get from the future, that's how they carry on in the present time. So like when they're hiring people at the conclave, if I didn't explain that, conclave is just like where they work. It's like the embassy where they work on time travel. But like they're hiring people, all they do is look in the future and see if they work there in the future, and they do, and so they're like, okay, you're hired. But it's all based on this idea that you cannot change the future, that everything is fated, and however it turns out, that's how it was supposed to be. Why are you gonna write a book about time travel if you can't change the future? Have you ever read a book about time travel where you can't change the future? What is the point? What is the point? I don't understand. This was so overly complicated with all of these different characters in different timelines. So the way she tried to explain which character from what timeline of their life was in the current timeline we were discussing was your green self and your silver self. If it was your green self, that's the person who was raised in this timeline that you're in now. If it's your silver self, it's somebody from a different timeline. So that's kind of how she chose to distinguish between the characters, but at the same time, like, it was so overdone, it was so convoluted and so complicated that it just made absolutely no sense. I want to talk about something that is absolutely a spoiler, and it just bothers me. So if you don't want to hear a spoiler about this, like, honestly, I wouldn't recommend anyone reading this anyway. I hate to say that, but it's true. But if you don't want to be spoiled, if you're interested in reading this, I'll put a little something up down here, and then I'll mark it in the chapters too. But once that's gone, it's safe to listen again if you don't want to be spoiled. Okay. So Ruby is Barbara's granddaughter, right? She's in the timeline with Barbara when they're told about this mystery a year from now in the future where they find the women died. Ruby gets involved with the time travelers as well and ends up falling in love with Grace, who is one of the original women who built the time machine in 1967. And the whole ending of this, the like happy ending that happens in here is Ruby and Grace get married. You're basically, don't get me wrong, I love that. I mean, I have no problem that they're both women. My issue here is that she married someone her grandma's age. And how are you supposed to have a relationship like that when you're not from the same timeline? And if everything's fated, if everything's like, this is how everything's supposed to be, why weren't y'all born in the same fucking timeline? Why weren't y'all born in the same, like, so that you could grow old together and not have to spend your life with somebody who's out of their own time? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. It's just weird that she's, like, married to one of her grandma's friends. She is 2 generations older than you. I don't know. I just felt like that was really weird, and I'm not comfortable with it. I just think it's fucking weird. I don't know. Like, I don't have any problem normally with age gap loves, but, like, you are not from the same time. You are not from, like, they're barely alive in the same timelines when they're like together, like when they're on their own timeline. I don't know how to explain it. It's just fucking weird. Whew. Okay, well, Ashley, I'm sorry. Sorry I didn't love this. I do not recommend you pick this up specifically. Absolutely don't think you'll like this. And it's such a shame because I thought this book was going to have everything that I wanted. It's so disappointing. Oh man. This actually like could go on my most disappointing books of the year list. It's always the books when I think that they're for me. You know how you like find a book and you read the description and you're like, that was made for me. That book was written for me. Everything in it is what I want. That's what I thought when I picked this up. And it's just such a shame because I think the execution fell way short. Way short. This was, I believe, her debut book. The author actually sounds like a badass bitch. Like, she sounds really cool. Yeah, so she is Irish and British. She studied English at Oxford and applied psychology at Derby. I don't know what Derby is. Her PhD is in literary studies and psychology, which kind of makes sense because you have to be a fucking scholar to understand anything that's going on in here. And maybe she's just really smart. Maybe this is just too smart for me. Maybe I'm too dumb to understand this. Maybe that's it. I certainly don't have my PhD in psychology and literature. How perfect. And it's no wonder that she was interested in writing a book like this. And it's at, like, on Goodreads it has like a 3.7. Yeah, 3.72. So it's not marked down. Like, it's not like one of those books that you see on Goodreads and you see the rating and you're like, oh, I'm not gonna read that one. Some people loved this. So I don't know, you know, maybe it's just not for me. I don't know. Nonetheless, I'm glad we did this book swap thing. I had fun doing it. It was very exciting for me. Ashley, thank you for sending me this book. Thank you for taking the time to make a video for me. I hope yours went over better than mine did. Oh, y'all, I'm gonna link her video down below in the descriptions here as well, so check her video out. Also, don't forget, if you're interested in getting buy one, get one 40% off, check out that code for Ana Luisa. That will be in the down below as well. And that's going to be it for me today. So don't forget that life is short, so read Wryly. Cheers and goodbye.